What's up, traders? Welcome to today's Equity Empire chart analysis session. When most investors are throwing darts, we're looking for clues in the charts. My name is John McHugh. I'm a former Wall Street analyst, hedge fund manager, and independent trader for the better part of 20 years. Today, we're going to be taking a look at oil and gas drilling company Noble Corporation, symbol NE. And when we take a look at today's chart, we're simply going to get to the basics and only look for two things. One, what is the direction of the trend? And two, are there clues as to where the big money is stacked up trying to buy or trying to sell? So step one, let's assess the trend. And the way we'll do that is we'll simply look for the two most recent highs and the two most recent lows. So from high to low, low to high, and then high to low, we'll notice as they move from left to right, the lows are moving higher. And as they also move from left to right, the highs are moving higher. And just today, Noble Corporation entered an uptrend. When we're in an uptrend, we're simply going to look for support levels for bounce trades now. So I'm going to look for a couple support levels, and then maybe we'll go look for a resistance level for a potential target. And there is a support level right here in the 25.77 to 24.68 price range. There's another support level below that in the 23.49 to 22.43 price range. So we have a couple support levels to consider for either a bounce trade or a lower entry point for a longer term investment. Now that we've identified two support levels, let's go see if there's a resistance level that we need to consider where price might run into some sellers, some big institutions that are waiting for their chance to start selling again. And interestingly, if we go up and to the left, we'll notice that there aren't a whole lot of clues of a resistance level until we get to this price point right here in the 31.21 to 32.69 price range. Okay, so that's going to give us, if that's going to be the first clue of resistance, that's going to give us plenty of room for price to bounce and give us a lot of reward potential. So the way you could construct a trade, if you like to buy in a pullback into a support level at the start of an uptrend, which is exactly what Noble Corporation just started. This is our game plan. We'll place a buy limit order at the 25.77 price range. Protective stop just below 24.68. Drag our target just in front of our first major resistance level. And that particular trade setup right there has a reward to risk ratio of 4.5 to 1. In other words, for every $100 worth of risk you would take, you could potentially have a reward potential of $450. If you wanted to take the lower level, you'll have even more reward to risk. If you wanted to take the next level, let's set that one up and see the reward to risk profile for that trade. So if you wanted to be a little more patient and risk, you would risk not getting filled because it'd be a much more dramatic pullback, and that may or may not happen. Okay, but if you're willing to risk not getting filled, but you want more reward to risk, you could place a buy limit order at the 23.49 price range, protective stop just below 22.43, and a similar target. And that trade setup would have a 6.2 to 1 reward to risk ratio. So this is personal preference. Do you want to get aggressive? Wait for a pullback to the first support level for a potential bounce off of that? Ideally, the way that trade would play out, it looks something like this. We get a pullback to 25.77, bounce off that level before going higher and retesting our first major resistance level. So that would be one potential trade. If you wanted to be more patient or look for a greater discount in price for your entry, you could consider the second trade setup, and ideally that one would look something like this. A gradual pullback to that level, bounce off the 23.49 price range before also moving back up to the same resistance level. Okay, so we have right here, we have two potential trade setups that both have very favorable reward to risk ratios. So this is the game plan in general is once you start an uptrend, look for a support level for a pullback into that level for a bounce trade. And here you have two opportunities to do exactly that. This one has once again, a 4.5 to 1 reward to risk ratio, the lower level, a 6.2. So let's wrap up today's session, folks. Hope you enjoyed the session. I'll be back each day this week with more chart analysis. In the meantime, wishing you the best of luck in your trading and investing, and we'll see you soon.